started, we always like to give you a little bit of Mercyhurst history so you know where we came from. A lot of the things that we still have happen on campus today are reflected in our roots. So we're located in Erie, Pennsylvania. For those of you unfamiliar, that's the little flag part that sticks up onto the lake in Pennsylvania. We were founded in 1926 by the Sisters of Mercy. Our initial class had 23 female students. You'll see in just a moment how different that is now. We went coeducational in 19, half the history of the university we've been co-ed. And we were formerly Mercyhurst College. We gained university status in 2012 and have been Mercyhurst University ever since then. I had mentioned that 23-person class. Today, Mercyhurst currently looks like this. We have about 2,500 bachelor's degree or four-year degree seeking students, about 300 master's degree seeking students, and about 100 associate or two-year program students on campus. Most of the information tonight is going to focus on that first bucket, that bachelor's degree seeking students. If you do have any questions about either of the other two areas, please pose those. If we cannot answer them, we'll make sure that the right person on campus tomorrow to be able to move forward and answer those questions for you. To get started, we want to highlight some of the academic programs that we have on campus. If you look at just the names of majors, we have over 60 academic programs. If you add up majors, minors, pre-professional programs, concentration within those areas, there's really 100 different areas that you can kind of specialize in here on campus. As I mentioned, there's concentrations within each program that allow you to further specialize. Graduate program offering, some of those 300 graduate students are completing a 4+1 program. That means they could potentially be working on their master's and undergraduate program at the same time. You can see the URL there if you want to check out all of our programs. I know sometimes, you know, the academic program is a big question, whether it's I don't know what I want to do or whether it's can I do multiple things. One of our students joining us tonight can kind of touch on both of those things. Alexa, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience coming in undecided and then ending up where you're adding in another major now as a student on campus?
Of course. Hi, everyone. So my name is Alexa Karner. I'm a junior here, and I am a current public health major, and I am adding biology as my second major. So when I originally came in for freshman year, I was undecided, and I actually remained undecided for the entirety of my freshman year. And this was actually one of the things that drew me to Mercyhurst in the first place, was the fact that I was able to come in undecided, and there was no pressure to pick a specific program or a specific major. I could be really flexible with exploring different options because, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. There was no rush, to narrow it down. So I worked with, different offices. They got me in classes across different majors to see what I really liked. And I was able to narrow it down to public health, which, I absolutely loved. And then once you're within a major, there is a ton of flexibility. If you would like to add minors, if you'd like to add, a double major, that's always an option. And, again, that's completely possible and possible to finish that in 4 years. I'm a current junior and I'm just now currently adding biology as a second major. So, there's always flexibility there as well. I can speak to the fact that there are plenty of concentrations, within just the public health department. We have concentrations within, epidemiology as a science. My biology double major will have a concentration in neuroscience. So, there's tons of options, to categorize that and customize that to what you like. You don't have to feel so stuck in a specific major. You can always add what you want and make sure everything across all your interests gets taken care of.
I'm still on track to graduate within that traditional FAFSA.
Yep, and even with coming in undecided, I remained undecided for the entirety of my freshman year, declared it, and now I'm adding still a double major in junior year, and I will still graduate on time in the 4 years.
Awesome. And I think that's, relatively common for our students who do double major. Our goal is still to have you graduate within that traditional 4-year time frame. Part of the reason that students are so successful at being that is, sort of this list of resources that we have through our academic support office. The first is a dual advising model. We'll have one of our students touch on that a little bit, but we have students are assigned a faculty advisor and an academic counselor both. They go through advising day as far as, sort of making sure that they're staying on track with their courses. And we also have a wonderful career development center. No academic experience is, what happens after I graduate? How can I, take this degree and parlay that into a career So we have a wonderful career development center that works closely with students as early as their freshman year to get started with that. I do think, though, that one of the more unique aspects of Mercyhurst is that dual advising model, and specifically advising day to really help students out. Annika, can you tell a little bit about that student to faculty relationship and what advising day is like?
Of course. So hi, everyone. My name is Annika Pearson, and I'm a junior here at Mercyhurst. So advising day, really the basic of it is you don't have classes for the day, and it's in order to plan the next semester schedule. So you'll go and you'll schedule a time with your advisor, and you'll be able to talk with your advisor about the best classes to take. So then you are able to graduate within that 4-year period, and you can graduate on time. It's great. You have a wonderful relationship with that advisor. You'll be able to get to know them one-on-one. And most of the time, your advisor is a professor that you have within your major. So you're able to have that connection. If you have a minor that's in a different field, you'll probably have a second advisor. So I have 2 advisors, one in the world languages department and one in the education department. And you really just get to know your professor. They know you by name. They don't know you by your student ID number. And the student to faculty ratio is also 14:1. And as you go higher up within your classes and your major, your classes get smaller and smaller. So you really get to know the people in your classes and create great friendships within your classes.
Like, what would you say is like a typical class size for an incoming freshman?
I would say, I think the highest class I had as a freshman was 20. But I do believe that they cap at 30. I could be wrong on that number though.
Yeah, I think that you're about right. Every once in a while, a faculty member might be nice and sign a student into a class, but those usually happen in higher level courses. So thank you very much for sharing that. We have a few other academic success resources for students that we really, hope everyone takes advantage of. The first 2, peer tutoring and our writing center, are available to any student on campus who wants to take advantage of it. And then we have 3 more specialized programs. We have our honors program. If you are meeting sort of the requirements that the program's looking for, when we review your application, we'll send you an invitation. That's typically like a 3.5 GPA with some, higher level courses. That might be a college level class. That might be, an honors or an AP class. We also are looking, if you take tests, although I'll talk a little bit about test requirements later. If you do take a standardized test, the ACT or SAT, at least a 25 on the ACT, at least 1220 on the SAT for that honors program. We also have a learning differences program. So students who may receive classroom accommodations in high school, if you're looking to continue receiving accommodations at the college level, the learning differences program really allows students to be able to do that. And then last, those specialized programs, we have our autism initiative at Mercyhurst, or our AIM program. What the AIM program does is it allows students who are on the autism spectrum, not necessarily only academic support, but also that, kind of social emotional support that they may need to be successful on campus. I want to have one of our students, Tori, talk a little bit about the Writing Center and peer tutoring, though, because those are available to all students and they really are a big part of your success. So Tori, can you touch on those a little bit?
Absolutely. Hi everyone, my name is Tori. I am a junior music therapy major with minors in psychology and theater. I actually just became a peer tutor myself recently. So at the tutoring center, for any class, tutoring can be available. Even if there isn't a tutor available at the beginning of the semester, you can request a tutor for the class. And they are very good about getting a tutor in a quick amount of time for you. So for tutoring, you can request a tutor for up to 3 hours per week per class. So you can get quite a bit of tutoring or extra help if you'd like to, if you just like a little bit of help before your first exam, or if you just want to review some course materials. Tutors are happy to do anything like that for you. So that is a great resource to use. I've also used the tutoring center myself, and sometimes it is just nice to have a quick half-hour session, go over some material or get ready for an exam. So that is available every week for students. Then we also do have our writing center. So typically in your freshman year, you do have a class called Research and Writing that normally all of our students take, but also for English classes or even for lab reports, if you want to be in a science major, they are happy to look over any piece of writing that you have. So you can request an appointment at the Writing Center, and there are students there as well that will happily look over your paper, or if you're just having a roadblock for an English essay, they're happy to get you started there as well. And both of those resources are completely free, and you can schedule them online. So it is really nice. You can fit it in with your schedule as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Tori. And I like the way that you approach that too, because I think it's important for students to know that you don't have to be struggling in a class to use the writing center or peer tutoring. It's something that you can use to just help yourself a little bit, from a B to an A, or if you're someone who might need, help because you are struggling in class. So it really is there for all students to take advantage of. Last, on the academic side of the house, I wanted to touch on study abroad. It's a really popular option for our students here at Mercyhurst. About 1 in 4 of our students ends up studying abroad at some point during their time on campus. And we have 3 main ways that happens. The first is our Dungarvan, Ireland campus. Students will typically go for 8 weeks. Faculty will go as well. It is a Mercyhurst campus, so you kind of get that experience just in another country. It works out really nicely that it's also Erie's sister city, so we have a lot of points of connection. The Sisters of Mercy who founded our school were founded in Ireland, and then the sister city. So it's a really wonderful experience for students and faculty. We also have faculty student academic travel, or FSATs. These courses are great for students who may want to study abroad but might not want to or be able to be away from campus for 8 weeks or for an entire semester. They're great because the class happens on campus in either the fall or the spring semester, and then students travel again with their classmates, with the professor of the course, to a variety of locations. Every year they change what what is offered, and then you go there for like maybe 10 days to 2 weeks after the class is over. So the majority of your educational experience happens right on Mercyhurst campus, and then you get to enhance that with the travel component, which is really wonderful. And then we do know that some students have very specific locations they want to study abroad, whether it's just someplace they've always wanted to visit, whether it's someplace that correlates really well with their major. They really, kind of just have that dream study abroad location in mind. For those students, we have affiliated partnerships outside of campus. We hold a study abroad fair every year to help connect you with those groups. We've already vetted them, so we know that all of your courses are going to transfer. You're going with, students. You are going to have a successful trip. So those are the 3 ways students study abroad. I'd say one of the most popular ways is that middle one, that FSAT. Caitlin, I know that you're in the process of getting ready to go on one of those FSAT trips soon. Can you talk a little bit about the process, what it was like, kind of registering for those, how you kind of figured out you wanted to do it, and maybe where you're going to?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Caitlin. I am a junior hospitality management student with a concentration in events management. This semester I am taking a FSAT. It's the study of food and wine in Greece. And when the semester ends, we're going to actually travel over to Greece for approximately 10 days. The process of applying was insanely easy. They had the study abroad fair and posted about the classes. And all you have to do is grab an application, fill it out, send it in, and they tell you really quickly whether you were approved to take the study abroad or not. And then they went ahead and registered me for the class. I didn't have to do anything on that side. And then all I really have to do is go to class and then go on the trip. So it's super simple. I'm really glad that I'm getting the chance to study abroad because, like Rebecca said, I don't have the time to spend 8 weeks or a semester away from campus, but I still wanted to get that travel abroad experience.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. And I think too, what's cool about those ones is a lot of times they really highlight the, kind of interconnected nature of majors on campus. So sometimes going to Greece, we might have hospitality management, we might have biology, and we might have English or history, and they all kind of go to the same location. So I think it's kind of cool to see how interconnected some of those programs are, especially for students who are double major or who are major minor and have those kind of broad areas. So study abroad is a really awesome opportunity if you are interested in taking advantage of that while you're in school. Next, I kind of want to transition to our, kind of more student life side of things. So we've covered the, kind of academic side of the house, and now sort of those questions about what's residence life, what is dining like on campus. And I think our students are going to be best served telling you about that, since they're currently living, in the residence halls. They're currently eating in the dining facilities. So we'll get started with residence life first. Alexa, do you want to talk a little bit about the freshman residence halls on campus, and maybe, what your experience as a freshman was like on campus?
Absolutely. So when you come in as a freshman, we have 3 freshman residence halls. So one is going to be all female, one is going to be all male, and then one is going to be co-ed. So typically, the way that the rooms are laid out, you'll typically have a roommate in your room. Depending on the different residence halls and the different ways in which they're laid out, you might also have suite mates who you are joining in a bathroom with, something like that. But in general, res life is really great at Mercyhurst. A lot of times the floors will come together and you'll meet a lot of different people throughout your residence hall on your floors and have that great opportunity to get to know people, especially in freshman year. So typically you'll have 2 RAs per floor, 1 RA being on your individual wing where your room is. When I was a freshman, I lived in our all-female freshman residence hall, which is called Baldwin Hall. I had the best experience ever. I can't speak enough about how close everyone got in that building. I met, all of my best friends through that experience. My roommate and me became super close. In general, when you come in, there's like 3 ways that you could find a roommate. So if you come in and you already have someone pre-picked out that you'd like to live with, Residence Life will honor that as long as you guys just mutually pick each other. They will be okay with that. The other way is a lot of people go on to like the university, your class's Facebook page, and they try to post messages, things like that, to come in and meet somebody ahead of time that they might feel comfortable living with that way. The third way, and the way that I personally did it, is that you can go random. I air quote random because it's not truly random. You'll fill out a lifestyle questionnaire about how you live and if you like the room, messy, if you're hot, cold, things like that. And they'll match you up with somebody that they think you would live well with. That's what I did freshman year. I absolutely loved my roommate. We got along great. She's still one of my best friends here on campus. So I can't speak enough about the good job that Residence Life does and how tight and close-knit those freshman residence halls do get. As you move on throughout your Mercyhurst career, when you're an upperclassman, it tends to get more independent style living. So when you tend to be like a junior or a senior like me, it's more independent style living, but the freshman living experience is super fun because everyone gets super close.
Awesome. Thanks, Alexa. And we do that on purpose. So for our prospective students who are kind of, looking at different, colleges and seeing what different residence, kind of life departments look like, we think that that supportive nature as a freshman is really important so you can get to know people. And then as you're ready for more independence, flexibility, and freedom, that kind of follows you through your years on campus. Second most important question after where are you going to live is what's the food like on campus? Annika, can you talk a little bit about the dining facilities on campus, especially our Grotto Commons where freshmen really frequent a lot?
Of course. So we have 2 main dining halls, the Grotto Commons, and we also have 501 Girl, which is in Ryan Hall, which is our sophomore residence hall. But Grotto Commons is the main one. They have such a wide variety and selection of food. We actually see the Flame. That's my personal favorite station to eat. It's like smaller portions. It's more like a restaurant style, I would say. I don't know, but we have burgers. There's a grill there, so you eat burgers, fries, hot dogs, grilled cheese. There's a pizza, which they like cook in a fire oven, pasta, and then there's daily dish, which is kind of like mama's home cooking, something a little different every day for every meal. The clean plate, where we can accommodate 8 of the 9 most common food allergies. We also have a breakfast nook and desserts. The chocolate chip cookies are amazing, heads up. But we also have the 501 Grill, which students can go eat, and that's great if you live in Ryan Hall. And those 2 areas are included within your meal plan. But we also have the Anchor Express, which is the convenience store that is also located in Ryan Hall. We also have the Laker Inn and the Roost, which are located at the lower level of the student union. All the places are really great to eat. The food's amazing. You'll never really get bored of the food. And yeah.
Thanks, Annika. We can attest from the admission side of the house that the cookies are good, just like Annika said. We always grab a couple on our way out from eating, when we go down for lunch. Another big question, especially if we have families joining us tonight, we know that, you want to make sure your students are safe and well on campus. Tori, can you talk a little bit about safety and wellness and what we have, on campus to make sure that students are really, healthy and happy while they're at Mercyhurst?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of safety, we do have our own campus-wide police and safety located on campus. They're actually located behind our all-male residence hall. So you can see them at any time. They're always on campus. There's always someone 24/7. So if you ever do need them, they are just a phone call away. They do have their own phone number as well. We also do have blue light systems on campus too. So at any time, if you ever were feeling unsafe, they are there for you, and the response time is just a few minutes. So they can be there at your location at any time. And they are more than happy to walk you back to your residence hall if it's late at night, if you're out studying in the library. They are more than happy to do whatever you need to help you feel comfortable on campus. I will say though, I've been on campus for 3 years now, and I have never felt unsafe walking around. We have a great little area. Our campus is kind of more of an enclosed campus. And it's absolutely, I've never felt unsafe while walking around. They do a great job of patrolling as well. So they're always there if you ever do need them. And then in terms of wellness, we do have our Cohen Health Center and our Counseling Center. So at our Cohen Health Center, if you ever were feeling under the weather, you can request an appointment over there for free. And then at any time when you schedule your appointment, they can check you out, make sure that you're all right. They can take you to the hospital in case of emergency and also write you prescriptions if you need as well. And then we do have our counseling center pictured with our lovely dog, Bailey. Bailey is always at the counseling center if you'd like to go visit him. And you can make appointments over there for free as well if you ever just want to talk to someone, or if you just want to de-stress if you're missing your pets a little bit and just want to play with Bailey. We also do have a rec center as well. So if you'd like to go over there, that is also completely free for students at any time, and they're open various hours throughout the week and weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Tori. And last but certainly not least, we want to make sure that you know how you can get involved on campus. We are firm believers that you do a lot of learning outside the classroom at Mercyhurst. So Alexa, can you talk a little bit about different ways to get involved on campus and maybe what clubs and activities that you're a part of?
Of course, this is one of my favorite things to talk about because I think that the campus involvement at Mercyhurst is so vibrant. It's what makes Mercyhurst so unique. So we have a ton of different areas across a ton of different interests. So I promise there will be something that you will enjoy doing here, whether that's athletics. We have a variety of different sports teams playing at Division II level, with 2 playing at Division I. So if you're interested in athletics, there's definitely a presence here. People get super into the games. It's fun to go. I'm not currently a student athlete, I could never, but I do enjoy going to the games and things like that. So if you are interested in anything like that, if you're interested in playing sports, but maybe not at the Division II level, we also have club sports and intramural sports as well. So you can always get involved with that to whatever level that you prefer. And sports games are free as well. So if you ever just want to go to games, we always do fun events with them and things like spirit games and things like that. So super fun to attend. We also have a huge area for performing arts. So you'll see pictured on the screen, we have the Mary D'Angelo Performing Arts Center. We always bring in different guest speakers and different guest performances, singers, things like that. Again, usually they're super discounted for students. You can go and see, really cool performances. I know a couple years before we had Kristen Chenoweth come to sing, so get to see her in a really cool atmosphere, things like that. The dance department often puts on ballets, so it's, maybe your own friends, your own roommates, things like that you get to see on that stage there, which is super fun. And then in terms of just clubs and campus involvement, we have a ton of clubs on campus. We have around 100 now. So I promise there is something there that you're interested in. If there was ever a club that you really wanted to get started at Mercyhurst that didn't already exist, it's super easy to get one started. You just need a couple signatures and a faculty advisor to help get the club up and running. New clubs are popping up almost every single semester. It keeps growing and growing. So again, I promise there's something there for you. When you come in as a freshman, we'll have a campus involvement fair where you can sign up for clubs across the board. You can sign up for as many as you want. I know when I was a freshman, I signed up for too many. I still get the emails for them, but you're not committed to them in any way. You can always choose to participate in them as much or as little as you want. That's one of my favorite things about this school is the opportunity they give you to be involved. I wasn't someone who was super involved in high school, but now coming in, I have the chance to be a student ambassador and talk to you guys. I also sit on our Mercyhurst student government as a senator for clubs, which is super fun. And I've actually worked my way up to being vice president of public health club, which is also super fun. So again, there's a ton of chances for involvement there, but maybe, if you don't want that much involvement, you can also just do something like yoga club and just go once a month if that's something you're interested in as well. So it's super vibrant. Everything's there. You can have it as much or as little as you like.
Awesome. Thanks, Alexa. Yeah, I think there's no wrong way to do clubs or activities as long as you're trying to do something on campus. So there, like Alexa said, there is something for everyone. I'm sure you're all, just wondering now, how do you become a Mercyhurst Laker after hearing all of that from our students? I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Nina, who's going to tell you all about, how the admissions and financial aid process works so you can find yourself on Mercyhurst campus in a future semester.
Good evening, everyone. I am happy to be here with you guys. We're going to chat now about the real good stuff. We are going to talk about admissions and financial aid. First, we'll start with our application requirements. We are on a rolling admission cycle, meaning we don't have, deadlines you need to worry about missing when you're working on submitting the items for your application. Typically, we encourage students to apply to the university between September and December of their senior year. You can begin working on the application in the summer before you kick off that fourth year of high school if you'd like. We are members of the Common Application, which is a standard college application that hundreds of schools in the country are members of, and that opens nationally on August 1st. We also have a school-specific application at mercyhurst.edu/apply, which opens in July, typically each year. We don't have an application fee no matter which route you choose to apply to the university. We'll have you submit that application and then also include some supplemental documents for that file. We will have you send your high school transcript from your school's guidance office, as well as a writing sample and a letter of recommendation. We are test optional, meaning we don't require that students submit SAT or ACT scores if they don't prefer to. We will happily look over those scores for students who feel that their test scores express what they've been able to accomplish and what they're capable of, but you're not required to. The writing sample is open-ended, so you can choose to write about anything you'd like. There are some prompts in both of the applications that are helpful if you're trying to determine what exactly you'd like to write about. But choose something that you're excited about, that you're passionate about, so that we can learn about you. Because when we're reviewing applications, we do read every single writing sample. The high school transcript is, I'll circle back to the letter of recommendation. That could be from a counselor, a coach, a pastor, your boss if you have a part-time job. Really any non-family adult who knows you can really tell us about what your awesome qualities are. So you'll see that the writing sample, test scores if you submit them, and letter of recommendation can be more subjective items to tell us who you are. The real beacon for your application is the high school transcript. This is many different subjects that you've taken over a long period of time, a variety of ways that you've been assessed. And so we really will comb apart that transcript to see how you fared as a student, to better get a sense of who you would be on our college campus and what your chances of success would be academically. So once we've received all of those items, we can get started reading your application file and getting you a response. Once we have begun the application review part of our cycle, which typically starts in September or October, students can expect to hear back from us usually about 4 to 6 weeks from the time that we've received everything we need for your file. So you're not going to be waiting a long time to hear back from us. That's the beauty of rolling admissions. We don't have to wait until we, have amassed a lot of applications so we can start, climbing through them. And you all won't be sitting, until the spring to hear back from us. In your acceptance package, we will include academic scholarships. And if we want to head to the next slide, I think that we'll talk about first the the typical Mercyhurst student. And this is not like we're looking exactly for these numbers. We find that once we've completed our holistic application review process, this is the typical student profile. These are average numbers. So we're talking about the bottom or the middle line. We have admitted students, obviously, with numbers that are above this and below this, because it's really about the sum of the parts and not one particular item. Now, here's what I was leading into with our scholarships. We'll include academic scholarships in your acceptance package to the university. Those are awarded based on the items in your application and can range, usually for excellent students, well over $20,000 a year. So those are what are called merit scholarships. We also have other types of institutional aid, and those could be talent-based awards for art, music, and dance majors, athletic scholarships that are awarded by individual athletics teams. Recruitment is managed by each individual team, and so they would communicate to us if that is something that's on the table for a student. We also have need-based scholarships and grants that Mercyhurst awards. One example of them that is near and dear to my heart as the admissions counselor for Erie County, Pennsylvania students is the Erie Promise Grant, which is a full tuition award for Erie County resident students that fit criteria for this award. Some items that you're required are to demonstrate need from submitting a FAFSA form, which we will talk about in just a moment. But what you can know is that Mercyhurst has a lot of opportunities for financial aid, and 99% of students who are admitted to the university receive some sort of scholarship from us. When you submit to us the federal financial aid form, then we can determine if you're eligible for any other grants and loan programs that may be due to you. And those could be the Pennsylvania State Grant, the federal Pell Grant, federal student loans, work study opportunities, and all of those could come from reviewing the information that will be contained in your free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. This acronym you'll hear a lot of as a high school senior, and it's really important and helpful for you to complete this form. For us at Mercyhurst, we don't have really like side scholarship applications that you need to worry about missing. If you're admitted to the university and submit your FAFSA to Mercyhurst, we'll take care of putting together a full financial aid offer for you. So it could include any of those items that you are eligible for from that previous slide. The FAFSA opens October 1st of your senior year, and you will file a FAFSA every year that you're in college for the upcoming year. You'll go to fafsa.gov and it will collect information from you as the student, as well as from parents and guardians. You'll create what is called an FSA ID and password in order to log in and submit the form. And you'll use tax information to populate it. At the very end of the form, you will add schools to your list to receive the information so that they will be able to send you financial aid packages. Our FAFSA code is right there on the screen if you'd like to note it, but you can search on there too for schools by name so that you can add them and send the information to those particular schools. So again, the FAFSA opens October 1st of your senior year, and we typically work on getting financial aid packages, ideally before the holidays, to students who have filed their FAFSAs and been admitted to the university at that time. I would just say in general, as long as you're applying to schools and sending FAFSAs, to not let sticker price deter you from considering any schools. Because there's oftentimes, again, a lot of financial aid that's available to you. And I would wait until you've gotten all of that information until you make your decision. We know that cost is a huge part of the college choice process. But to work through these processes so that you can get eligible for anything that could help you defray costs would be in your best interest. So on the screen now are some reasons why we have heard from our current students that they chose and stay at Mercyhurst, but I would really like to hear it straight from the experts, straight from the sources. And so I'd like to really hear from each one of the ambassadors that are on the call today about why you chose Mercyhurst. Let's start with Annika.
So, well, hello, my name's Annika. But so the reason I chose Mercyhurst was mainly for the education program. I found it to be phenomenal here at Mercyhurst. And the fact that I could double major with a minor was very appealing to me, since at most universities, you struggle to even do a double major. So being able to do 3 items within 4 years is amazing. I do come from Baltimore, Maryland, so that's about 6 hours away. But the campus felt like a community, and I felt like I belonged even stepping foot on campus for the first time. So there's an amazing community aspect. I came here not knowing a single person, and I have an amazing group of friends and an amazing support system here on campus. And it's just an amazing campus. It's beautiful, and I wouldn't change it.
Thank you. Alexa.
Hi guys. So like I mentioned much earlier in this meeting, I actually came in undecided. So I wasn't drawn to a particular program or anything like that, but more just the feeling of the college in general. So when I came for my tour of Mercyhurst, I was immediately drawn in by the community. Everyone that I interacted with was super nice, and I felt like everyone was very genuine on the campus. All the people really just gave me that sense of home and that sense of community that I was really looking for on a college campus. And then, as I've gone through my years and fallen into my major and picked what I wanted, I've gotten such unique relationships with, my professors, my faculty that I never thought that I would have ever gotten the chance to have in college. They can recognize me by name, and, they know things about me and I know things about them. And I think that's a really unique experience, especially to get in college. And, it was originally the people that drew me here, and it's the people that's kept me here. I've made, lifelong friends. And I can't say enough about how much I love it.
That's pretty great. And Tori, you can wrap us up.
Right. So I'm actually originally from Erie County. I was born and raised about 15 minutes away from Mercyhurst campus. So I actually grew up coming to campus for different events with my high school. And so I was really familiar with the campus when I was looking at my college search. And originally I was actually also a different major when I originally came in. So I had it narrowed down to Mercyhurst and another school in Ohio. And there is just something to be said about the atmosphere. Because I know I'm kind of echoing what Annika and Alexa said, but there is really no words to describe how beautiful our campus is. And really, the people here are just so wonderful. I actually had one of my professors my freshman year made sure she knew everyone's name. She printed out a sheet of our ID photos, and she wanted to make sure she knew who you were. She wanted to know your name. So it really does speak to how well our professors really do want to get to know you and really want to build relationships with you. And that is true of everyone on this campus. We do have a saying here that Hearst is home, and it really is home. It is just such a wonderful atmosphere and a wonderful community that we have here.
Excellent. Thanks, Tori. The next section here, we're going to open up the floor for any more questions that you all have. I know that earlier Mallory was wondering if we can go over the honors program again. Rebecca is actually our liaison to the honors program, so works closely with Dr. Ross on admitting students to the program as they enter Mercyhurst as incoming freshmen. Do you want to do your little overview, Rebecca?
Yeah, absolutely. So to start with what we look for in a prospective student, as we review, and this is as all of the counselors review applications, we typically work with a geographic population, although Nina also works with some special interest groups like our dance and music students. As we're reviewing those applications, we're going to look for specific academic markers. So do you have at least a 3.5 GPA, and have you taken some higher level courses? So honors courses, AP courses, dual enrollment for our Pennsylvania students, CCP courses for our Ohio students, college courses if you're doing summer classes anywhere. We want to see that you've kind of gone above and beyond that traditional high school level. We're also going to really look closely, are you a good writer? Our honors program is pretty writing heavy. So we're going to read that writing sample, just like Nina said, we do read them all. And one of those things we're looking for is that writing ability. And then if you decide to submit test scores, we're going to look, did you get at least a 25 on the comprehensive, so that full number for the ACT, or did you get at least a 1220 on the SAT? Those can be super scored numbers, so it doesn't have to be on one test, but those are the standardized test numbers that we're looking for. As far as what happens when you're on campus, you're still going to maintain that 3.5 GPA. That's sort of why we look for that at the high school level. You're going to take a couple of honors classes each year. It's not an honors college where every course you take is at the honors level. You're going to take most of your courses at the regular level, and then a couple of courses a year at the honors level. And then you'll do an honors thesis to wrap up your senior year. A lot of times it correlates to your major's final project, so that you don't have to do two huge projects. You can do one that you do really, really well. You'll just sort of honorize it, so to speak, to add an extra component. And then we'll make sure that you're also doing some outside the classroom things. You're doing some service hours, and that you're also doing some, some things where you're going to speakers that we have on campus, some of those cultural events. So we want to expose you to a really wide variety of things. For anyone who's specifically looking for more information on the honors program, I'll put my email address in the chat. Let me know. We did an honors program spotlight earlier this week. I don't know that we have a recording ready for that, but we do have the recording from one we've done in the past. So I can send that recording on. Dr. Ross and 2 of our current students spoke at it. So I will put my contact information in the chat right now. Anyone who would like that specific recording is welcome to reach out to me, and I will send that on to you as soon as I get your request. While we wait for any more questions to come in through the chat too, I'll advance our slide one more. This is our sort of last slide, that we've got. Like I said, we each work with specific students. If anyone wants to jot down the contact information of your counselor, all of us are up on this screen now. So feel free to write down phone number, email address of that student population that matches who you are. Of note, like I said, dance and music, they work with Nina regardless of where they are. Same thing goes for our NCAA athletes. If you're a student being recruited currently, you would work with Holly Dietrich regardless of where you're geographically located. I'm gonna pull our slides down now. We'll get a little more face-to-face time while we answer any other questions that start coming through.
Let's briefly touch on internships. Are any of our 3 ambassadors that we have, have any of you guys completed some internships or have those set up and can speak to that? We can talk generally about them in admissions. I don't know if any of you have those experiences.
Would teaching clinical experiences count as an internship?
Yeah, I think when we're talking broadly about internships, we're talking about hands-on applied experiences that have to do with your major.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because it's sometimes a little specific.
Is that you? Is that you, Annika?
That is me. I do a lot of, so I actually was in a classroom my first semester here at Mercyhurst, just observing classrooms. And that's a really great thing about Mercyhurst is they get you into your field of study pretty early on, or give you the option to go into your field of study pretty early on. So you're able to see if you do really enjoy this field and you see yourself pursuing this field. And so I was in the classroom first semester. I'm actually currently setting up to start student teaching, and I met with my advisor in order to help find the best placement for me. And also, depending on your major, I have a friend who's an Intel major, and she even gets sent internship opportunities on the daily. So they're coming at you depending on your major, or you can find one, and it's really easy and it's an amazing experience.
Thank you.
We had a couple of questions from Sarah in the chat asking about transferring college credits in. I had answered in the chat that yes, we do let you bring those in, but I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that because I know that that's becoming a more and more common pathway. As far as the limit to bring in any credits you've taken in high school, 45 credits is the maximum an incoming freshman can bring in with them to Mercyhurst. We can help you strategically pick if you have more credits than that as far as which classes are going to help you the most or cover the most bases as far as, our liberal arts curriculum and as far as, maybe a 100 or 200 level class in your major, but 45 credits and you can bring those courses in. C or higher is what you need to get in those college level courses. And then you need to get a 4 or 5 on the AP exam.
Local hospitals. There are 3 large hospital systems here, located here in Erie. There is a Allegheny Health Network affiliated, UPMC, and Mill Creek Community Hospital. So students in our broad pre-health tracks can get that kind of connection at any of those, as well as with smaller clinics and offices.
As far as our art programs go on campus, we have a really wide selection of art programs on campus. We've got studio art, so that's really traditionally what you think of as being an artist, creating art. You kind of pick a specialty, but everyone sort of takes the general courses. We've got graphic design, which our graphic design program in the last couple of years has been ranked really highly as far as success, of graduates in the field after they leave Mercyhurst. We have an art therapy program, which is a really wonderful combination of psychology and art, and a really growing field as well. We also have a music therapy program for students who are interested in that type of work. So in addition to the studio art, graphic design, art therapy, we also have art education. So we, have the ability for students to come in, still maintain sort of that ability to be an artist, but then also get any of the education components that they would need along the way. We also have a photography minor. It does, I believe, sit in, you might find that, either in art or English, although theater is in English. That's the art one that lives in English. So we also have a theater minor on campus. So a lot of different things where students can really get involved academically, artistically speaking, but we also have, sort of the ability for students to get involved in those things as extracurriculars as well. As far as medical illustration goes, that would be something that's kind of a specialty. So most schools are not going to have a very specific undergraduate degree in medical illustration. You might be a
in
student who wants
studio
to double
art.
Major. Say again, Nina?
Maybe studio art.
Right.
To more focus on the fine art would help with that.
So you might, and maybe you want a double major minor in biology, to go along with that. So I think that that's where the really cool combination of the ability to double major comes in at Mercyhurst, is that you can kind of create your own specialty. We also have what's called contract major. So if there's something you really want to do, and we have components of it in a variety of areas, you can work with the deans of the colleges and the program directors to kind of come up with something that really fits your needs. We don't love saying no right away when it comes to students taking ownership of their academic experience. Sometimes it has to be no, if we need to make sure things are accredited and meeting standards, but we're always willing to have that conversation with you for sure.
Let's see, I got a direct message asking about academic support. And they specifically talked about student athletes. And there's not so much of a delineation. The opportunities that are available are broadly available for all students from our academic support office, which is incredible. We have that dual advising model that students have that guidance that is tailored to them. And I believe one of the academic support counselors specifically does work with athletes, but the resources that are available to students are available to all.
And the coaches do a really great job of study tables for their student athletes. We are firm believers that you are students before athletes at a Division II school. And I don't want to burst any bubbles of anyone who's joining the event tonight, but typically at a Division II school, if you come in as an athlete, you're leaving probably with a career focus in whatever your major was in. And the coaches know that, and they want to make sure that you're successful in the classroom too. So a lot of support to make sure that you are successful. And if you are someone who needs academic accommodations, we can definitely help, you make those through that academic support office for sure. We had a question about the applied forensic science major. Really wonderful program on campus. Again, another program that we just did a program spotlight on. We can send you specific information if you're interested on that in great depth that's covered by the director of that program. But in general, 3 different concentrations depending on what you want to do. Students do anything from working with, kind of local, state, federal, law enforcement, to working in medical examiner offices, to doing crime scene investigation, to working as forensic anthropologists. So it's a really broad program that allows for specialists, specialties, and focusing on those areas to allow you to be really successful, which is an awesome program for sure. I'm always impressed when they give the tour of their department, all the cool stuff that they have for students to literally get their hands dirty, while they're a student on campus, and get those hands-on experiences, which is awesome. Looks like we had a question about our AIM program. So that's our autism initiative at Mercyhurst program. That is fully integrated with the rest of the university. You're still, while we do have AIM designated housing, you're still living on campus with all of our other students. You're still attending the same classes. The coursework is still, the requirements are still the same for all of the majors. So what it does is it provides additional levels of support on top of, what you might get as a normal student. It really allows you to have that full college experience while still being able to have all of the academic, social, emotional support you might need to be successful on a college campus.
Yeah, I saw that a few students are interested in forensic info. So yeah, you can email Rebecca.
Yes, I'll put my information in the chat here again in case it got missed way up at the top for the honors. I will add my email again. So anyone who'd like it, send me an email and I'll send you that recording on.
And that goes for any more specific. We know these events are, a group event and it's very general, the information we provide. If you have specific questions about a program or student service that we have at Mercyhurst, emailing Rebecca or myself, we can certainly connect you with
And
that.
for anyone who's interested in those academic accommodations or the AIM program, we also did a program spotlight on both of those together. They ran that jointly. So feel free to email Nina or myself if you'd like the recording link for that academic support and AIM department program spotlight as well. Any other questions that anyone has tonight about either what was presented or that you were just hoping to hear when you signed up for the Mercyhurst information session before tonight? I'm going to double check to make sure we didn't have any questions come through in the text inbox here. Doesn't look like it. We'll give one last call for questions. We had a professor tell us one time that you're supposed to wait for 7 seconds to see if anyone has any questions. And it feels like a very, very long time in a Zoom conversation to be silent for 7 seconds. And I'm not good at it. So I'm going to try my best to be silent for 7 seconds and let everyone pose any of those last minute questions.
And I will say, if you are not a quick typer, feel free to unmute yourself. We'd be happy to hear your voices too. To answer any questions that you may have. Someone asked about in-person classes. Our students are currently in person on campus. Most of them are attending in-person classes, hybrid classes, online classes. Because of our small, our low student faculty ratio, many of our classes remained unchanged as far as size. But for those that, maybe there wasn't enough space available for distancing in this new pandemic world, hybrid models work for having students log in live remotely on the days that they are not in person.
Any other questions? All right, thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. You all asked wonderful questions. I hope that we answered anything that you had. Like Nina, I said, if more come up as you sort of are chatting about the session tonight, or as you're falling asleep tonight, if something comes to you, don't hesitate to reach out, especially if you want any of those recordings. We're happy to send those along. We're also happy to see you for any other future events. We have some other virtual ones scheduled. You can go to mercyhurst.edu/visit to check those out. Any of our fall 2021 prospective students, if you want to come see us on campus, we have in-person individual tours.
I dropped the link in the chat for the in-person visits for anyone who wants to see our faces in person.
For any of our students who are not currently fall 2021 students, not quite ready for you to visit campus just yet, hopefully soon. But in the meantime, we can do any one-on-one virtual information that you'd like. We can connect you with faculty, any AIM department meetings, those can all happen virtually as well. So let us know what you need as you sort of start working through the college search process if you are not a senior currently. So thanks for joining us. Carpe diem, and hope to see you again soon. Thanks, guys.